Calaroga Shark Media.
Hey there, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Conan O'Brien returns to late night, not just the concept of late night, but the actual NBC Late Night with Seth Meyers. It is his first time as a guest on the Seth Meyers incarnation. He made a cameo appearance early in Jimmy Fallon's run. That's tonight at 12:37 a.m. If you want to stay up late, I'm sure someone will share social media clips and your favorite podcaster will recap it for you. Got some information for the Just for Laughs Montreal Rebirth Festival. JFL has announced the programming lineup for Off JFL, the festival's unique, edgy sibling that has been a launchpad for the next generation of artists. This year's Off JFL features Russell Howard, Gianmarco Ceresi, K. Trevor Wilson, Emil Wakim, Nish Kumar, Robbie Hoffman, Ivan Decker, and some others. There's some real good names there. I got to drop the website into English. I can sort of, quote-unquote, read French, but not in a way where I can, quote-unquote, read it and explain it to you as I'm doing the podcast here live-ish. So this is not the main festival, but let's see what we got here. July 17th, the Sketch Show. Friday the 18th, the Montreal Show. A couple of midnight surprises in there. Sunday Night Improv. Ivan Decker on Wednesday the 23rd. That's in the middle of the festival proper. K. Trevor Wilson that same night. Nish Kumar that same night. And I think that's the night of New Faces. Boy, that's a packed night. Maybe I'll go up there that day. Still haven't decided. I finally found a contact for the new press people. I need to reach out to them. Jay Jordan on Thursday the 24th. And friend of the show, Gianmarco Ceresi, on Saturday at 10 o'clock. Good to see the festival back and starting to come together now. That's good. Waiting for the big announcements and the new faces and all that. Egon Wodum is the latest to flirt with the idea of leaving SNL. GoldDerby.com, which suddenly is reporting a lot of comedy stuff that's hitting my Google anyway. Ego was at an Emmys FYC event and said, I want to create something that feels like it's mine. I want to showcase some of my other talents now that I've done so much on the show. But I love the show, so there's no telling what happens there or doesn't. Bowen Yang said, this is kind of what everyone's negotiating. It's a nice sort of collective check-in for everybody. I don't think any of us has really had the foresight into what life would be like afterwards, and now that we're on the other side of it, I think we're all kind of assessing. Heidi Gardner said, I think I'm looking for open doors. I found that sometimes the easiest things that come to me are the most fulfilling ones, so that's what I'm looking for. Interesting. I think we're going to see massive cast turnover, but time will tell. My former coworker Jamie Foxx got emotional while accepting the Ultimate Icon Award at the BET Awards on Monday night. Jamie struggled to hold back tears during his speech. He thanked God for giving him a second chance following his health emergency. Jamie said, I don't want to make this whole speech about that, but you can't go through something like that and not testify. I cannot even begin to express the love that I feel from everybody out there. I got to be honest, when I saw the in memoriam, I was like, man, that could have been me. Kevin Hart was the host of the BET Awards. He had some really strong material here, which obviously he told better than I will recount to you. But Kevin said, I'm shutting down the idea of after parties. No after parties tonight. None. Take your asses home after this. That's why I did this on a Monday. People got to go to work tomorrow. No after parties. That's where stuff gets slippery, at those after parties. We're learning a lot about people, aren't we? We're learning a lot. Take your asses home. People assumed that was a commentary on the Diddy Combs trial. One of Kevin Hart's other rules for the night was he wanted to keep things classy, and he would only refer to attendees by their government names. No nicknames, no rap names. He gave a shout-out to Dwayne Michael Carter Jr., a.k.a. Lil Wayne, Calvin Cortazar Broadus Jr., that's Snoop Dogg, and Gloria Hallelujah Woods. Kevin Hart said, a lot of people expected to see a big church lady in the back selling fish plates. Nope, that's Glorilla. Kevin also joked that he had gotten the audience self-driving Waymo cars to take the audience home. The event took place in Los Angeles. Taylor Tomlinson addressed the situation in L.A. on her soon-to-be-over late-night show and said, late-night shows aren't funny anymore. We're just the news now. I don't know. I just have a hard time talking about any of this stuff because I don't think it's funny. I can't imagine being somebody whose mom or dad or brother or sister got abducted by ICE and you turn on TV and it's just some dumb B-word in a ponytail saying, Trump's just being silly. I don't know how to make it funny. It's not funny. She then joked, how are the day laborers at Home Depot possibly hurting Americans? Have you gone to Home Depot? Literally, all they do is offer to help. Stephen Colbert said, there's been some pelting of police and ICE agents with rocks and garbage. For example, people began throwing objects at law enforcement in a protest that started when demonstrators took over the 101, although locals were quick to point out they should have taken over the 405 to the 5 and saved at least 10 minutes on the road to fascism. That is a wonderfully, wonderfully crafted joke. Good job, Stephen Colbert / Stephen Colbert writers. Seth Meyers said, also, if you're against property damage and protesters flying un-American flags, you guys would have hated January 6th. Hey, did we know Jim Jefferies has a new show on Fox? I host this thing every day. I feel like I would have mentioned it. Maybe I erased it from my brain, but apparently he had a show on Fox last night called The Snake. The Snake features 15 contestants leveraging their unique skills and relying on their powers of persuasion. Throughout the game, a snake is chosen to juggle the fate of their fellow competitors, all trying to compete for the grand prize of $100,000, which is, kind of a lot of money, but not a lot of money. The feds are going to take their cut. You're going to go home with maybe 60 grand. How much is Fox getting for one commercial on this show? Yeah, sounds like a lot until you look at the math. Jeffries said, there is no backstabbing you in this game. People are stabbing you in your front. What makes this show different from other shows is once you win the challenge, you get to become the snake. You get a snake medallion, the most coveted character in the game. And then we have a saving ceremony, not an elimination ceremony, where the snake decides who they're going to save first. Then that person decides to save another person, and that person decides to save another person until we get down to the final two players. And then the snake decides who gets to live and who goes home. Patton Oswalt has joined the cast of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. He plays a Vulcan in season 3. That's terrible casting. Like really, really terrible. Love Patton Oswalt, but there's nothing about Patton Oswalt that is Vulcan. He doesn't look like a Vulcan. He doesn't act like a Vulcan. Even if he's a world thespian, he's still going to look like Patton Oswalt in Hobbit makeup. This is a terrible, terrible idea, and I'm a big Trekkie. And it gets worse, Star Trek fans. During the brief interaction, Spock tells Patton Oswalt's character to give him 5. Oswalt's character gives Spock a high 5. Then Spock says, now go down low, and lowers his hand. Before Oswalt's character can make contact with Spock's hand, Spock pulls his hand away. I almost dropped a JFC there. I'm a big Trekkie. The current regime at Star Trek is just awful. Patton Oswalt's Star Trek character says, why would you do that? Spock says, because you are too slow. Oh my God, what are you people doing? Just leave Star Trek die in peace. Some fellow nerds said they hope Patton Oswalt gets more Vulcan episodes. He would have to appear in 3 episodes to pass Sarah Silverman, who appeared in 2 episodes of Star Trek, and of course Tig Notaro was in several seasons of the horrible, horrible, horrible Star Trek Discovery. You don't want to start me on that topic. If you ever meet me in person and you say Star Trek to me, you're going to regret it. Caleb Hearon is getting an HBO special. It'll tape in Chicago. It'll debut this fall. Nina Rosenstein, the executive vice president of HBO programming, late night, and specials, said, we're thrilled to work with Caleb on his first comedy special. He's wildly funny and has kind of an emotional edge and honesty that feels totally his own. This special captures everything that makes him such a fresh and fearless voice in comedy. How do you know? It hasn't recorded yet. Caleb said, thank you to HBO for the opportunity. I look forward to seeing what the platform will be called in the fall. That's good. And that's your comedy news for today. If you enjoy the program, please tell a friend about it. They might like the show too. You never know. Always trying to grow this thing. If you would like the show without commercial interruption, if you're on Apple Podcasts, click the banner. It says uninterrupted listening. If you're not on Apple, go to calaroga.com/plus. Link in the show notes. Short version, $5 a month. No ads, no feed drops. And it's a great way to support the show. Appreciate you. See you tomorrow.